Yo, Aries. Hi. I missed you guys. How are you? I'm Chris. Welcome to your January reading. I'm so happy to be here. So, Aries, how was your new year? How has this Capricorn season been treating you? There's a lot to talk about here, Aries. A lot to talk about with work, right? This month we have the sun. Later in the month we have a new moon in Capricorn. We have the sun in Capricorn, which is what I was going to say. Okay. Already popping out. We have the Ace of Swords. I love it. Right? Central situation. Let me finish what I was saying. Okay? Relax. We have the Sun in Capricorn, the Moon in Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn. We have Venus in Capricorn. And then we have. There's one more. I'm forgetting it. Pluto in Capricorn. A lot of Capricorn energy, right? A lot of intensity, lots of work. Especially at the end of the month, we have an eclipse in Leo in your house of like projects and like relationships and work. So, Aries, are we starting off the new year fresh with this Ace of Swords? I think what this is saying to you guys is that it's time to get clear in your head, right? And coming into this is kind of what I knew I wanted to start talking about with you guys. Time to get clear in your head. Kind of, what came up for Capricorn is sort of similar to this, right? There's so much that's happening, so much involving work that's going to be coming into your aura this month and this year, that it's time to like take a little step back, time to like pause a little bit and get in touch with you. Right? For Capricorn, it was like getting in touch with what they wanted. But for Aries, it's going to be about getting in touch with who you are. Right? And how that extends to the rest of your life. This kind of honesty. This kind of Ace of Swords truth. This Ace of Swords lucid thinking about what is happening for you, where you want things to go, right? And being on, we talked about this a lot, Aries, right? Being honest with yourself, about yourself. And it's not like you're deceiving yourself, right? It's just about really taking the time now to reflect and to think about, who you are and what you want to accomplish and how that's going to pour into the rest of your life. And to really like take stock of like the people in your life and how they help you. We have the Princess of Wands. I knew that, but I had to read it. Princess of Wands reversed. So, this is you, my little Aries. This is you doing exactly what I said. With the Princess of Wands upright, like she's ambitious, she's planning, she's moving, she's like, ain't nobody gonna check me, boo, right? And that's very Aries energy, right? That kind of youthful, gung ho, I'm gonna just conquer the world kind of energy. But in reverse, the tarot cards are kind of saying, like, slow your roll, right? Like, now is not necessarily the time for you guys to be like charging forward. Now is not the time for you maybe even to be making that many plans. Now is the time to like sit here. Right? The Ace of Swords, like swords are movement and action, but this is the Ace, where we have just like that primal energy that really hasn't been put into action. Right? In the Kabbalah, the top sphere, Kether, I believe, represents the aces. And it's that primal energy before it moves into the next sphere, which is like the two, where it starts to get put into action. Chokma. Gonna drop some Kabbalah on you. That's fun, right? We'll talk about these kind of things more. But this is sort of like that energy that's just kind of sitting there, kind of ready for you to take hold of and ready for you to like embrace, Aries. So get clear in your head, get clear with yourself. Take time, right? Take a step back, because things are gonna be moving for you, right? And we'll see what the cards come up with next. But things are gonna be moving. It's gonna be action for you guys in terms of like career, especially in terms of career, right? With like Jupiter and Mars in Scorpio this month, like your ruling planet in a in a sign of intensity, in a sign of passion, and also like a sign about money. Scorpios are like hustlers in their work, right? But also with that, like be prepared to like have some upsets. This is why maybe right now is a good time to go slow, and a good time to like take your time and pace yourself. I know it's not something you guys want to hear. You're just ready to go, right? Like, but it's a good idea to like slow down, take stock, meditate, even like journal, whatever it is you have to do. Look, like chart up, strength in reverse. Right? What this is saying to me is that you guys are not necessarily in your most powerful place right now. Right? But it's not a place to fret, right? But by no means am I saying that you're weak. Right? This strength reverse is not weakness. Right? It's just sometimes it could be like loosening up, right? Because upright it's about like having control, taming the beast, having a gentle but firm like grip on things. So in reverse, what this is saying to me is like it's kind of not time to take hold of that leash, right? Like look, we have the second cat that's popping up here in reverse. So it's like reiterating the idea that like it's time to kind of rest. It's time to build up like your stock of energy, Aries. It's time to like be a little chill. Like I know it's the new year, and like we all start off the new year like ready to go and jump into resolutions, but astrologically and like what the cards are saying, it might not be the best time to like just jump into projects and jump into your goals and jump into career. Like you don't want to waste your energy is what I want to say, right? And right now it almost feels like moving forward in a powerful way is sort of just like spinning your wheels, being on a little bit of a hamster wheel where you're like exerting all this energy, but like nothing is really happening the way you want it to. Okay, I'm digging this. So, next card up, Six of Wands. Victory, right? Success. But what I want to say here is like what this is emphasizing to me, because part of the Six of Wands to me is always like it's not just about success. Like especially in this card, you can see it, and other decks you can see like the implication of the people. Like the wands are kind of like welcoming the guy, but he's standing in front of a crowd, right? It's not just about winning; it's about like sort of like a public victory, right? So what I want to say about this is like. And again, I think this came up for Capricorn. Audit, right? Because with Venus and Capricorn, we're kind of looking at like how your relationships affect your work, how your relationships affect, the progress you want to make, your progress towards your dreams and goals. So to them, it was sort of like a clearing house, like not even just clearing house, but throwing up boundaries where they were necessary. But Aries, I think for you, it's sort of like soaking it up, right? Soaking up the right kind of energies, because look what we have as the last card of the basis, the Five of Wands. Conflict, opposition, struggle, confrontation, right? So this is why I'm saying, guys, it's time. It's excuse me. I'm not. I'm not sick again. I just don't know where that came from. Oh, if I get sick, I swear I've been taking like emergency every day. I've been sanitizing my hands like 10 times a day because I do not want to catch this crazy flu that's going around. It's funny. I'm reading. My mom is an Aries, and she just got over the flu. I hope I'm not channeling that energy because like yesterday, Scorpio made me cry with their energy, and Aries like if y'all are sick, like stay home. Don't bring that around. Anyway, point being, what I was just saying about like checking like the people who are around you, because there's potential for conflict. There's potential for like people. Remember what I said about Mars in Scorpio, right? How it can cause some upsets, some like real emotional like stuff happening. But then also there's Jupiter in Scorpio, which is like this is like these two cards here together, right? Like these two cards represent like Mars and Jupiter in Scorpio to me. Like all the potential of that expansiveness, of that like harnessing of that passion, right? And then that kind of conflict fighting energy that you get when like a planet like Mars is in a sign like Scorpio. But and we also have in these cards we have Jupiter. I just said this is a Jupiter card, right? Jupiter in Leo, and then Saturn in Leo. So there's this kind of push pull, right? Saturn, the planet of restriction, Jupiter, the planet of the opposite of that. In the sign of Leo, where we're going to be like taking stock again, like the idea of like who you are, right? What you show to the world about who you are. Leos are like on display. They want to show off. But there's also, with Leo, you get drama. So be careful, Aries, because like what I'm feeling is like in the place that you guys are right now, where you're trying to like accomplish this, right? But then you're like here in this like kind of stuck, not necessarily stuck, but like not moving energy. And where you're here, where you're trying to get right with yourself, where you're trying to get clear with yourself, like you don't have any time for drama. It's just going to suck the life out of you. It's going to make this clarity and lucidity like confused as hell. Right? So think about it now. Start considering not just like who you are. And I said not to plan, but at least start taking stock of like what you want to accomplish, where you see yourself. Right? That's a good way to put it. Right? Not necessarily like doing the work of like outlining plans, but like take a moment, like these two energies together are kind of like putting yourself, what I want to say is like putting yourself viscerally in, like today I just did like vision boarding at work because my job paid us for an hour and a half to do vision boards. Cool. It's cool. I'm laughing because like I can't believe that this is my job to do fun shit like that. But like to me, what I brought this up is because like this is exactly like an idea of vision boarding isn't like a bad idea. I know it sounds kind of corny maybe, but like you want to viscerally put yourself in like what you want to accomplish and who you want to be, like feel it. Right? This is a very good time to like get in the feels, not like in the emotional way, but like hype yourself up is what I want to say. It's a great time, Aries, to hype yourself up. Get hyped. Right? Because then when you get hyped, you like take this energy and you flip it. Right? This is like not hyped. This is like not ambitious. This is like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I'm just doing it. I don't know what I'm doing. Right? It's kind of what the Princess of Wands is. Fucking that. Being all over the place, like being scatterbrained, being like confused and kind of lost. And I want to reiterate again, not just like about who you are and where you're going, but like what your relationships are doing for you or are not doing for you. Right? I don't think this is a time to like clean house of relationships. We'll see what else comes up here. It's not like you have to I don't know, cut people out, or I don't think there's a strong emphasis here on like building boundaries. But it is like this is like the only time I would like really encourage people to almost be like a little bit of a vampire in a good way, right? Like taking what you need and staying in like it's like if you're a vampire, don't like suck on the blood of somebody who is like poison, right? It's not like you have to kill them, but it's like drink from the fountain that is like sustaining you and hyping you up and building you up, right? Most excellent. Here we go. So, what did I say about not being in the fields? I mean, for our two paths here, we have the Four of Cups. Again, I think this came up for Capricorn. I felt a lot. You guys popped up. The Emperor card popped up in the Capricorn reading, and it felt like there was a lot of over. That's why I keep bringing them up. I think there's a lot of overlap in the two energies, and like because you guys are both those like headstrong, like going for it energies. That I think that headspace is kind of being people who have that attitude of like the ramming forward, the just like charging forward kind of needs like this month to chill, right? On one hand, you have the Two of Cups, and the other hand, you have the Four of Cups. But where this came up for them in a positive way, where I wanted them to sort of like embrace their emotional abundance, because that's what the Four of Cups is to me, right? Even though a lot of decks show him like the guy like not acknowledging the cup, what it still suggests, even whether or not like you interpret it that way, is that there is an abundance of emotional energy. Remember what I said about emotional outbursts? Right? Right now the Four of Cups is like too many feels for Aries to deal with. Whereas Two of Cups is more manageable. There's only two. Right? And again, I think that to me this is like repeating the message here of like really indulge in like those relationships that make you feel good. Really like let yourself be like you look at the picture, right? The hair is intertwined and it's turning into water. It's like it's almost like they're filling each other's cups. So what I said about like being a vampire, I don't mean to make you sound like bad, right? But like it's not. It's about symbiosis. It's about like mutual support, and that's what Two of Cups is to me right now. Find your support systems in other people, right? You don't have to go cutting people out, but like get closer to the people who make you feel good. Get farther away from the people who don't make you feel good. Right? Because what do we have as our other option? Too many feels. I don't like Aries when you guys are too in your feels, right? Like part of what I love about you guys is that you always have that brave face, right? And sometimes I know like you're human and you need to let it out, but sometimes like Aries is the first of the zodiac. You guys are kind of like the leaders. And sometimes the rest of the people like need to see their leader like yeah, sometimes it's cool to be vulnerable, and I think we talked about Aries being vulnerable a lot. But sometimes you want to see your leader being strong. You don't want to see them being a vulnerable human. You want to believe that they're like superhuman and don't have feelings and can just like, you know, do anything. And Aries, that's what I want you to do. I want you to stay away from like languishing in your emotions. Doing the right emotions, right? Like I love how we go from 4 to 2. Like it's just like half. It's like okay, you can be like a little in your feels. You can be a little open. You can be a little vulnerable with somebody, but pull it back enough, right? Like not to hide what you want to say, but like don't get sucked into that like Cancer mopiness, that Scorpio mopiness, right? With your planet in Scorpio, like that could be a danger for you guys. All right. So Aries, like pretty good. I feel like there's a lot of different energies here, but I feel like they're kind of all pointing in a way forward. Like pointing in a way where it's like this Ace of Swords to me again is still just like clearing the way, cutting away the mental clutter, shining. Cool. So let's pull a couple outcome cards and we'll pull some of the oracle cards and then that'll be a wrap. Okay, 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 I'll take it. The Hermit, I like it. First outcome card, right? What was I just saying about like taking it slow? About reflecting, about getting good with yourself. Guys, if you're a spiritual Aries, which I know some you guys tend to be, like now is a good time to, you know, take part in your religion if you're religious. Now is a good time to meditate if you're not. Like just whatever it is, go it's time to go within. It's time to quiet yourself from within. And it's time to find that like inner well of strength. That's what's so good about spirituality, right? It's just like in a lot of ways another source of strength, another source of support. Right? Also, I'm not usually the type of reader who like dwells on like signs. Everyone is like, "Oh, well, Hermit came out, so there's a Virgo and you're dealing with a Virgo." And "Oh, Strength came out, so you're dealing with a Leo." Like and by the time you're halfway through the reading, they've dropped like 8 of the 12 signs and it's like, "Oh, wow, what a surprise." Like someone's going to resonate with that. I mean, on the other end, like it's kind of cool. Like if you are dealing with the Virgo and you say, "Oh, you're dealing with the Virgo," and you're like, "Oh my God, how do you know?" I mean, that's cool, right? But like, maybe there's an Earth sign. I feel a little bit like that. Or Leo. I will say that again. Like Leo, there's a lot of Leo here, right? So maybe it's another fire sign too that's in the picture. That can be like a support system here if we're talking about that. Maybe it's the Earth sign. I don't know. Maybe it's the Earth sign that you need your time from. I don't know. I don't know where this comes from. Basically making it up as I go along. Somehow it means something. I'm just kidding. I've fucking studied tarot for years. Just so you know. Over a decade. I started reading tarot when I was like 16. I'm 31. Not always professionally, mostly with like friends and stuff, but like, okay, cool. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Ha! You know what? Remember what I said before about Capricorn? This is the bottom of the deck, the Emperor. This is exactly the same card that they got at the bottom of the deck. And I said, hey, like, this is cool because you guys are kind of like Aries this month. Like Capricorn and Aries. You guys are both like getting your power. Like I even said to them, I was like, if I was in charge of something and I had to pick who was going to be like a manager or the leader, I would choose a Capricorn or an Aries, right? Because you guys are both like really good at like being in charge and leading people and being bossy. But that like at the bottom of the deck, the Emperor. This to me is like you guys showing up in your own reading at the bottom of the deck is sort of like this is time for everything I've been saying about like building yourself up, getting strong, getting clear. Like this is you guys getting situated in your own skin, getting strong within your own skin, getting empowered. so that when you're ready to, at the end of the month into the beginning of next month, oh, that's cool. This is a lot of Leo, right? Because at the end of the month, there's an eclipse in Leo, and it's going to be a dramatic change in a lot of ways. There's going to be shifts in your career and how you feel about yourself and like the way you show up in the world, right? So this is a month about like getting down to business with yourself and finding like empowerment, so that when this shift comes, this Leo shift comes, you're like ready to handle it, right? And another outcome cards, we have Two of Swords. I swear to God, again, I think this was in Capricorn, and then Judgment, which I love. Absolutely, as the final outcome card, I love Judgment here. So the Two of Swords, like, can we talk about, again, the reflection? Like the waiting, the inward meditation, the going within, the, like, getting clear with yourself, right? What did I say in the beginning of the reading? Like, this is the first sphere of the Kabbalah. This is the primal energy before it's put into action, and then the twos are the first point where that stuff is put into action. Right? So this is like showing me that all this clarity that you're getting by the end of the month, there's going to be moves that are made. You're going to start going forward. You're going to be reborn. Remember what I said about dramatic shift with Leo, about who you are and like how you show up in the world? Aries, I think by the end of the month, you're going to be seeing maybe a shift in career, a shift in your relationships. I feel like a new start in life. Like, what a great way to start and end the reading. With this sense of newness. With this sense of like clarity and like freshness. Right? So expect Aries, like, work you've been doing is going to pay off. If it's internal work, it's going to pay off. If you're applying for jobs, you might start getting some calls. If you're looking for a new apartment, you're going to maybe find the one that you want. Your relationships are going to take on a new tone. Or they're going to fall away. Judgment, like, these people are dead and they're rising up, right? So it's either like the things that are working are going to like get a fresh start, and the things that are working are just going to be like out the window. Because there's no room for that with this. There's no room for this when you're like this brand new. When you're hearing the call to something greater, it's like, why? Why would you do this when like you have like an angel from heaven like calling you, beckoning you? Come here, Aries, right? And then you're like, fuck you, bye. I'm hearing the applause. I'm hearing the call to something better. And I want to say, Aries, I don't know why this came into my head, don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel guilty about letting like the old things fall away. Like, it's exciting, but it's scary for everybody, right? Like, whenever something starts new, like, it's scary. But don't feel guilty. Don't cling to like the old way of life. Let things go. Because I feel like in your head, like, you know, when you get into like a new job or a new house or a new city or something, it's like a complete, like, there's this adjustment period in your brain where like you're not familiar with this new life and it feels weird and uncomfortable. That's what I feel here with you guys, like this shift where everything feels different, where you're not used to what it is. And then what happens when things are new? You like cling to the past. You cling to what's familiar. You mourn the loss of what's familiar. No, I mean, that you can't tell you to stop, not mourn it, but like, don't hold yourself back. Don't hold yourself back from what the future holds just because like it's uncomfortable. Because you have like these two twos here, right? The Two of Swords and the Two of Cups. Like, we have real movement coming for you in these areas of your life in terms of like how you act and like who's around you. It's coming. I'm going to just show you the cards real quick. Oops. Don't you love this like high tech video? It's cool that these cards kind of came out at the reverse, right? Look at all this like fire energy you have done here, guys. Wands, strength, wands, wands. Leo, 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 Leo. Yeah? And then like this swords energy, just like things are gonna start happening. The only time the cups really came up, I think, in a positive way is here. And like in telling you about your relationships. That they're important to focus on. And because they kind of fuel everything else that's happening here. Yeah? Cool. Raven, magic, manifesting, right? The bear, rest. Take time, go within. Bears are about introspection. Yes, they hibernate, but it's also like spiritually, it's an animal of going within. Take your time, get strong, rest, and then you'll be ready to go. When you're ready to go. I mean, guys, how much clearer can it get? Coral, nurturing, right? And corals like build themselves up, they heal themselves, they repair, right? They're like a complicated system, and like they take care of all their parts and they grow strong. And what did it say about like the spirituality? Right? This fell right on top of the hermit. It's not just a time to withdraw, it's also a time to like get strong in like within yourself. Right? To like get your energy gathered up so that you're ready to manifest. This is like the vision boarding thing I was talking about, right? The raven. Intention, creative visualization. That's magic. Directing your energy towards something you can visualize clearly. That's magic. Yeah? Awesome, Aries. Cool. So like I feel like if I could sum up this reading, like these cards like focus on. Focus on these intently. Because when you do this, you'll accomplish this. You'll accomplish the Ace of Swords. Clarity. Alright guys, in the description, link to personal readings. I'm sorry that these readings were a little late this month. I was kind of catching up on personal readings, which have been a lot of fun. So link for that in below. Also my Instagram, check it out there. I'm working on building up a Facebook page for the site, so that should be up soon. And Aries, like in closing, I kind of just want you guys to take yourself seriously, and not just in like an egotistical way, but like in a way where like you believe in yourself. And again, I hear Aries saying, "What are you talking about? I believe in myself," but at least a lot of the Aries I know, like there's a belief in the self in terms of like feeling good about yourself in a way, but then there's also this like not knowing what to do with all that energy, right? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you don't always know where to direct it. But you will find it if you just go slow and take care of yourself this month. Right, Aries? Te amo mucho. I'll see you in February. Bye.